Hello, this is Pastor Ron Manuel from Lighthouse Baptist Church. We'd like to welcome you to our 5-minute devotion. We'll be talking about the Old Testament saint by the name of Noah. And let me just read a couple of verses in Genesis chapter number 6, verse 1. The Bible says, "And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, that they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord." And so these are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man, perfect in his generation, and Noah walked with God. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh hath corrupted his way upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the ark. You know, in this particular chapter, God spoke to Noah, and God said unto Noah, My spirit shall not always strive with man. And you think about the day that we live in, it's perilous times. Paul said to Timothy, this also know that in the last days perilous times shall come. You say, Preacher Manuel, what kind of days are we living in? We're living in days of apostasy. That simply means we are turning away from the truth. Not only that, we're living in the days of apathy. Folks don't care about God or even spiritual things. And number 3, there's approval of sin. Anything goes. Everything's okay. And so the Bible speaks against sin, but yet man says, I can do what I want to. And then the appetites are corrupt. They took them wives of all which they chose. You think about Hollywood. Somebody once called Hollywood the cesspool of iniquity. My friend, that's what it is. And that's kind of where we are today. And so God said unto Noah, he said, I'm going to destroy the earth because of the wickedness. But he said, I'm going to give you 120 years to preach. And Noah, my spirit shall not always strive with man. And so we live in that day. The Bible says in Matthew chapter 25 and verse 37, But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Romans chapter 1 verse 24, Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts. Romans chapter 1 verse 26, For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections. Romans chapter 1 verse 28, That they did not retain God in their knowledge, and God gave them over to a reprobate mind. So twice God said, I'm going to give them up, and then God says, I'm going to turn them over to a reprobate mind. Why did God say that? Well, God said in Romans chapter 1 verse number 29, because they were filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, and so on. And so in the day that we live, there's unrestraint, there's unconcern, and there's unbelief. And so when you read the book of Genesis chapter number 6, the Bible says they were filled with violence. They were preoccupied with physical appetites. The Bible says in Luke chapter 17 verse 27, they ate, they drank, they married wives, and were given in marriage. And not only were they filled with violence as they were preoccupied with physical appetites, there's rapid advance in technology. And the Bible talks about Tubal Cain, an instructor of every artificial in brass and iron. We live in a day of artificial intelligence. So we have rapid technology. Not only that, we have materialistic attitudes and interests. The Bible says they ate, they drank, they bought, they sold, and they planted, and they builded. And so, and then there's no concern for God or the things of the Bible. So they lived in the days of corruption.